a world-renowned and best-selling author. His new book is called Knife, Meditations After an Attempted Murder. Please welcome to the program, Salman Rushdie. Sir. Good to see you, my friend. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
First question, obviously, how are you? This was obviously a traumatic experience. How are you feeling?
I'm okay, I mean, surprisingly.
Yes.
But sometimes there are good surprises. This was one. I'm pretty much recovered.
I have to say, and I know this, it sounds peculiar to say this because of the traumatic experience that you endured. I love this book.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful work of introspection. I feel like I know now how your mind works. I've read other of your books, but you really do a wonderful job of taking us through how you think.
Yeah, it's weird how I think. I mean, I have this kind of free associating mind, which goes from the moon to a movie, to a book, to a piece of mythology, to a joke.
I had to read this book with another book next to me to get just some of the references. But it allows you, sometimes you'll read an author's memoir and there's a certain self-consciousness to it. But maybe because this is about a traumatic incident, I feel like your defenses were down and it was very revelatory.
Yeah, I mean, there's a subject.
Right.
I mean, what I felt is that it starts off, there's a love story which turns into a murder story, which turns back into a love story.
Yes. The love story, by the way, is with his wonderful wife, Eliza, who is really the hero, maybe, of the book.
Yeah. No, I mean, she did a huge amount, and I wouldn't be here in good shape without her. And plus, she's an amazing writer.
Right.
There's that, too. I say with a certain amount of gritted teeth.
Yes. Is there competition in writerly families?
No, not really. Actually, one of the nice things about this is there isn't. We're enormously supportive of each other's work.
I thought a really interesting part of the book is, spoiler alert at the end, when you go back to Chautauqua. Chautauqua is the famed community in upstate New York where they bring in speakers and where this unfortunate event happened.
Yeah.
And you go back to revisit the scene of it, but also the jail, where they are holding this person that attacked you.
Yeah, it was a last-minute decision. We were actually on the plane flying up to, because I had this desire to go and revisit the scene of the crime and show myself that I was standing up where I fell down.
Right.
Sort of important for me. But then on the flight up there, I thought, Chautauqua was a really small town, and if he's in the county jail, how far is that from the institution? And it turned out it was like 5 minutes drive. So I thought, well, let's go to the jail.
It blows my... But you didn't have a desire necessarily to see this individual.
No, I just wanted to see the jail. But you get there, it's a really boring jail. It's a little cell block and a wall with some barbed wire. But I thought, he's in there, I'm out here. That feels good.
You win.
And what happened is a weird thing happened. My feet started dancing.
You were dancing?
No, my feet were dancing.
But what does that look like? It's just shimmying, but the body stayed.
Well, and Eliza, my wife, said, stop doing that.
I can imagine this gentleman just glancing out the window for no apparent reason going, is that the guy? Like...
Yeah, and he's dancing in the car park.
You talk a lot about your thoughts about this gentleman and whether you wanted to confront him. There's actually a really wonderful section of it, almost like a Socratic litigation that you do in 4 parts.
Yeah, I make him up.
You make him up.
Yeah.
But you don't make him defenseless.
No.
The litigation that and the dialogue that you have with him is challenging.
Yeah. Well, I thought you got to give the enemy an even break. If you're going to have a serious conversation, then it can't just be me yelling at him, telling him what a bad person he is, which I think.
Yes. But he wasn't... it makes you wonder about, you spent since 1989, this fatwa is put upon you, and it's these fundamentalists, and these are religious extremists who have decided they're going to punish you for whatever their reasoning was. You write, though, that this gentleman is sort of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of that.
He's 24. He wasn't even born when this thing happened. And he, by his own account, had read nothing I'd written. And yet he was willing to commit murder. I mean, that's stupid.
Yes. But it's... I wonder if you think of it, does it strike you as a change in fundamentalism? You say he was radicalized by Iman Utubi, that he watched YouTube videos. And do you think this attack had more to do with, like, John Lennon's attack or with a religious attack?
No, I think in some ways it's a very American attack.
Right.
He spent 4 years in a basement playing video games and watching videos. And it kind of messed with his head. And also, he's born and bred in New Jersey.
Slow down. I think I know where this is going.
Well, then, you're ahead of me. But, we live in an America where people kill each other every 5 minutes.
Right.
And I think maybe in his New Jersey brain...
Yes. That is how we describe it as well, by the way. He's got that New Jersey brain.
Exactly.
Do you think that there is a shift? We think of fundamentalism as primarily a religious artifact. Have the algorithms made fundamentalism something different from that?
I think maybe they have. I mean, I'm too old to know, really, because algorithms don't know what to do with me.
Right. Give them a chance.
No, I do. But they don't know what to do. So I'm not algorithmically influenced.
Right.
But people are. People are all the time. And, I think something happened in him which made it possible for him to decide to murder a total stranger.
Right.
And that has to be brainwashing of some kind.
Right.
Whatever you want to call it, but I call it brainwashing.
Yeah, as I read the story, I started thinking, we're so used to this idea of violence with a cause, this idea that there is something deep inside them that can almost be noble or understandable. Yeah. This is not that. It struck me more in common with the school shootings we see here,
exactly.
or the other things, that you were just this thing he saw.
And what's so strange about it is, first of all, he must have known that he was messing up his own life as well.
Right.
Not just mine.
At 24.
At 24. And the last thing he did before he got on the bus from Fairview, New Jersey to Chautauqua, the last thing he did, he canceled his gym membership.
Because he knew the prison had weights?
He wasn't coming. Well, he knew he wasn't coming back, and why should he keep his standing order going?
Wow. So he's going through it and going like, I don't need Sirius Radio anymore.
No,
I don't.
Exactly.
So was he suicidal, or was he?
I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll find out if this trial happens, we might find out more about him. But
do you dread something like that? Is that something that still visits you?
No. I mean, I think if they need me to testify, I'll go testify, and I'll be in the courtroom with him. But my view is, he should be scared about being in the courtroom with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you wonder sometimes, and this is not to get, but you and I are both getting older, and you write a lot in the book about...
Speak for yourself, John.
Fred, settle down. I was just on jury duty, by the way. I don't know if you saw that picture of my doppelganger. But there's mortality. You write about Martin Amis and Paul Auster and people that you've lost, even during the writing of this book, lost to esophageal cancer. You had a cancer scare.
I did.
In the middle of rehabilitation.
Yeah, in the middle of all this repair work, suddenly, apparently, I might have prostate cancer. I thought, that's not fair.
No. Well, you're right. He writes, he goes to the doctor. Well, you can tell.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the doctor and examining your prostate is not fun.
Again, speak for yourself. It depends on if you have a Jersey brain.
Anyway, the first examination, they thought they found a bump on the prostate, and then I had to have an MRI scan. And the MRI scan, you know, it grades from 1 to 5, and 5 is really bad. And I came out at 4,
right.
And it said cancer probable. And then it turned out that it was not probable, that it had this bump had been caused by some other infection.
And a medicine that they had actually given you.
Yeah, exactly. And so then a second doctor, the first doctor's boss, also examined my prostate more thoroughly.
Were they lined up down the hallway? What are we doing here?
No, this was very thorough. And also, he was an Indian doctor, and he was a fan of mine, so he was extra.
Nothing more uncomfortable than that.
Extra thorough.
Yes.
And he said, no, I think this might be caused by this other infection and so on. So they had to go back and have another MRI scan, and it said 1 to 5, it's 1, no cancer. So I had cancer for 2 months, and then I didn't.
It's so incredible because you face this, as you write in the book, this 27 seconds.
Yeah.
It was just 27 seconds. And yet, do you think about, and pardon the question, but do you think, does it matter how you die? As you watched your friends and you thought about your fate and your brush with mortality, and then to have this cancer scare, did it make you think it mattered how you die?
I prefer not to.
I've got some bad news.
Exactly.
It's coming for all of us.
Bad news for all of us.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't know. My wife Eliza and I have decided we're planning our 100th birthday party, my 100th birthday. And I think it has to be a dance party, don't you think?
Yes.
So we're trying
just your feet, though, not the whole body.
So we're trying to decide who should DJ. Any tips?
I'll pick somebody.
Yeah, all right.
But it strikes me because you, whether you've wanted this mantle or not, and I'm assuming you don't, you represent something. You represent a courage and a freedom of artistic expression, of the importance of artistic expression, and of the danger that artistic expression often visits upon the people who do it. It's a noble shield to carry, but not an easy one, I don't imagine.
Not an easy one. And in a way, there's bits of me that would prefer to be well known for being, you know, a good writer.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm pretty sure that's in there, too.
Is that in there? Yeah. I see. But, you know, it used to be, when I started out as a writer, when people would write about my books, they would mention that they were funny. And then, after the attack on the Satanic Verses, everybody stopped saying I was funny.
Really?
And
because that book is satirical.
And people who read it, I get two reactions to people who read it now. One is, where's the dirty bit? Because we can't find it.
Yeah.
And the second is, who knew it was funny? And I say, people who read it, it's funny.
But it's, you know, with that on you, do you feel there's an idea that you have to wear that heroism?
I don't know about the heroism, but I think I have to be part of the fight.
Right.
You know, I mean, there is a fight about free expression in America too at the moment, and I feel like I'm in that fight. I have a dog in that fight.
What do you think that how the nature of fundamentalism has changed, and how that affects artistic expression? Like even now when we see all the protests, you know, up at Columbia University, some students protest this, others think that's going too far and they're threatening people, and we're crossing all those difficult lines. You spoke at the Penn banquet, yes?
Yeah, last year.
Last year, which is a consortium of writers and poets and a lot of people, truly defenders of free speech.
Yeah.
I just got a text today. They've canceled
the prize giving because there are people attacking them for not being sufficiently anti-Israeli or pro-Palestinian or something.
Right.
I mean, everybody's so angry right now.
Right.
that nobody can listen or talk to anybody else. So people just shout at each other.
Listen, there was a critic, and this is going to sound like a joke, a critic of Taylor Swift's new music album, the Torture Post Society. They had to remove the critic's name from the critique because of death threats.
Because he didn't like the record?
I didn't read it. Because I love the record.
Yeah. Of course.
And I don't want to hear any negativity.
No. But so do I, John.
But it speaks to, in 1989, there was an ayatollah and a fatwa and a group of religious muckety-mucks who delivered the law from high above. And now we're all fundamentalists.
Everybody's an expert. Everybody's got an opinion.
And a hostility.
And hostility. The level of anger is crazy right now.
Do you think of, you have a dog in the fight in that creative. How do we, and I think about this a lot, how do we manage that? And is that just a function of the algorithm?
It might be. I think to an extent it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, frankly. I'm glad you asked me, because have the answer to the world's problems.
It's actually on page, if I would.
Right there. Exactly.
But
No,
you are thoughtful enough, and you've been through it enough that I know you have an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I just think people have to stop having such thin skins. Mm-hmm. At the moment, we're all very easily offended. And what's more is we also believe that being offended is a sufficient reason for attacking something.
Right.
But actually, everything offends somebody.
Always.
Always. I mean, occasionally you.
What? How dare you, sir? I am offended.
You see, and then if you go down that road, then we can't talk to each other anymore.
Right.
You know?
But haven't groups always had a way of policing language or behavior? I think I'm trying to think, has my perspective changed on it, or has the dynamic changed?
I think what's happened is the temperature has risen.
Right.
I mean, yes, of course, people have always disagreed, and people have always said, you can't say that, you've got to say this. That's not new. What's new is the volume and the heat.
Right.
And so what do we do about taking down the volume and taking down the heat? That's the question.
I mean, and again, not to make you the avatar of this, but this is coming from a man who, because of threats from fundamentalists, had to basically alter your entire life.
Well, it did certainly have an impact, yeah. Yeah. I mean, what is sad is that I'd actually got my life back, really. I mean, I've been living in New York City for getting on for 25 years.
Right. Well, you had made a decision, I'm going to come out of this and make myself
and for
available.
23 years, it was fine.
Right.
And I mean, I was doing everything that writers do. Book tours, readings, lectures, all
I know, I'm a writer. Don't stop. I've been there with the coffee clutches.
Yeah. So
and Oprah.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been with Oprah.
None of us have.
None of us. But anyway, so it was a shock when this thing out of a quarter of a century ago, more than that, 30 years ago, sort of came out of a crowd at me. I really was very surprised.
Do you find yourself now freed of that fear, or is there still that PTSD? Like, what does that do to you?
Well, I mean, it does, nothing good.
Right.
But it's now been, 20 months or something. I think I'm pretty much back to myself at this point.
Do you feel like you're in that writing rhythm again? Has your mind started to dream again?
Let's finish this, John.
And by the way, let me tell you something. And we don't have people on where I don't either, read it or take a look. It's such a beautiful and incredibly interesting and revelatory book. I really thank you for writing it, because you had to endure something awful, but your insight into that experience is really a remarkable gift to give to other people.
Thank you.
And I really do appreciate it.
And it's got funny bits.
A couple of funny bits. For a writer, not for a comic, for a writer. Yeah. But it really is a fantastic piece of work, and I thank you for doing it. The book is called Knife. It is available as we speak. Salman Rushdie.